creating Peter Parker was was a one of the biggest challenges I ever had, but it was also something
Interesting.
again that I'm very proud. Well, it was because, as you say, the world wasn't used to seeing movies like that or TV shows. Hi there, Jim.
How's it going?
Hey, good, thanks. Where are you?
I'm in Chicago. About yourself?
Oh, cool. I'm in Melbourne, Australia right now
Whoa!
doing a
Are
movie
you
here.
working on something or just
Yeah, I am.
vacation?
I'm doing a movie, so it's cool. I'm enjoying being here. It's really cool.
Oh,
But I
that's
love I love Chicago. It's like a huge it's a city I'd love to spend more time in. I've got a great friend who lives there and I just love it. I'd love to go to the blues clubs there someday because
uh-huh.
I
That's
love
the
that music.
founding place of the blues.
I know it is. I know it
Yeah,
is, and I'd love to go. So I hope the next time I'm in the Windy City, I can do that.
fantastic. And yeah, the great food city too. So,
Bet it is. I know.
you had such a long career. How many? I was curious. How many of these sort of martial arts movies have you been part of?
Zero.
That's what it makes. Yes, I think it's a first for you in all these years. Amazing.
It's one of the reasons I really wanted to do it because I thought, there are not a lot of bucket list things that I haven't checked off already.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had my own primetime series. I've starred on Broadway. I've been in Academy Award winning movies. I've had my own, all that stuff. But I've never done a martial arts movie. And so the producer of this, Shannon McIntosh, who also produced Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and we hit it off really well on that one. And so she called me up and said, "Do you want to come to Bangkok and be in a martial arts movie?" And I said, "Are you sure you're calling the right guy?" I said, those fights I did as Peter Parker, that was a long time ago. And she said, "No, no, no, you're going to play the CIA station chief." And I thought, yeah, doesn't that sound cool? That sounds totally cool. So I loved it. I love going and doing it.
And how cool is it? You shoot it in Bangkok, which is kind of a martial arts scene of a place, to
Oh,
begin.
and of course, it's like a religion there.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, there are academies everywhere, and they take it unbelievably seriously. So it was a perfect place to shoot it because they had a limitless supply of excellent martial arts fighters to draw from to play the other characters.
Mhm.
And I mean, Jim, every fighter in this film is a real fighter. I
Yeah.
mean, whether they have dialogue or don't have dialogue, um, everything is real. There's no CGI. There are no stunt doubles doing any of the fighting.
Wow.
It's all the actual guys doing it themselves. I mean, there's a character who plays a French fighter. He's a fighter. The lead guy, Ludi Lin, he's a fighter. I
Mhm.
mean, and these guys, to me, it was amazing watching them.
Yeah.
They're highly skilled athletes, and it's like any really, elite athlete. To me, I find it fascinating watching people who operate at that level. And
Hmm.
it was a learning experience for me, being around them. And
Interesting.
then
It's an art form,
it,
100%.
it's a total art form, but it's also, it's a highly disciplined athletic form as well. So, I mean, these guys are in amazing shape. They're just hard as rocks, every one of them, and they love it. They just love what they're doing. But I honestly think, Buddhism and martial arts are kind of the two religions in
Hmm.
Thailand, and people kind of have equal respect for both. And that was a fascinating culture to be in. And so it was the perfect place to shoot it. Yeah.
No question. Yeah. Nothing an LA set could replicate for sure in
Yeah.
something like this. So that's great to shoot it on site and make it feel, even for you as an actor, like you're part of it.
Oh, totally. And, I mean, even that extraordinary set they did build of where the general's sort of palace is, where the fights take place. I mean, that's a real ancient building. All they had to do was just, fix it up a little bit. But, these real beautiful old ancient temples and buildings that we worked in and around, it just made you feel a sense of where you are. So yeah, I loved it. I loved doing it. And I thought, well, I'll never get a chance to do something like this again. But then again, never say never.
Exactly. You've done a lot, I mean, in your career. And I was excited about this because I'm a big fan of Ludi Lin. I think he's fantastic. I've been a fan of his work in Mortal Kombat and just you know an authentic person who does martial arts and knows it isn't a film, and
That's
doesn't need much help there, and it just makes it come to life more. And he's just a really good actor too.
like he's just up the road from me. He's up in Brisbane, Australia right now. He's shooting the next Mortal Kombat right
Wow,
now. So
amazing.
yeah, I know. So it's cool. We're going to try to get together because I really liked him a lot and I respected him. I mean, my God, that guy's in the gym at 5 a.m. every morning, and I mean, I'm in the gym at 6, and I used to think I was the first one, and he's finishing his workout by the time I got there. But yeah,
Man.
he's a great guy.
Both of you are beating me. I'm at the gym at like afternoon. So, you know what? You guys are well ahead of the game when it comes to that.
But when you start work at 6:45, you've kind of got to be there at 6.
Hey, it's that dedication, Nicholas. You know what I mean? It's easy to say no or not or take a day off, but if you're committed to it, that's fantastic that you're able
I
to do
love it.
that.
There's nothing that makes me happier than to wake up in the morning and know I'm going to work on a film
Mm.
set. The thrill I got when I did my very first movie, Lord of the Flies, and I first saw my name on a call sheet, I still get the same thrill. I mean, I know when I go out next week and start this next one, and they hand me a call sheet, and there will be my name at the top of the call sheet, and I'll get the same excitement in my stomach that I got the very first time I saw it. It's never gone away.
I got to ask, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but to look at your career, you've almost done 100 movies. To think when you started off as a child doing a Sound of Music, do you think you'd still, like at this day and age, people would remember it and hold it to heart like that, especially when you were like younger and filming? Did you think
Yeah.
this movie would last that many decades with you, especially in your career?
Oh gosh, no. Nobody did, for that matter. Nobody did. No one knew the film would have the success it did. I think everybody hoped that it would do reasonably well. And even that was unsure because it was at a time, it came out in 65. That wasn't a time where musicals were popular at all. And I remember we had a rap party, and at the end of the rap party, you kind of said goodbye to everybody, like, well, I'll never see you again. It's been wonderful working with you, and I've loved being here, and we had a wonderful time, but that's it. It's over now. And, there were tears, and we were sad we wouldn't see each other. Little did we know, 60 years later, we were all in LA just last year when Julie won the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award. And I presented it to her, and all of the Von Trapp kids who had played the kids were there, and all the other people still alive from the film were there. And, yeah, it's become part of my life, and it's like a second family now.
That's amazing. It's amazing to be part of that kind of history and have that to be, it's something to be proud of,
Oh,
to
I'm
be.
so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and proud. You're right. And to have people tell you stories about the importance that the film has been to them and what it's meant to them and their family and they love coming up and telling you. And sometimes they're quite sad stories or touching stories, but you feel honored to have been a part of something that had that kind of impact on people's lives. So I've never, I've had people over the years say, "Oh, do you resent the fact that that's all what people want to talk about?" And I think, no. How lucky am I that I did a movie when I was 13 that people still love and admire and want to talk about. I'm very, very grateful.
No question. That's really well, good perspective. And you know what? You were the original Spider-Man too. You
It
see,
was.
before it was cool to be Spider-Man, because now it's a thing, as you see. But you were there originally, so that's something to not to be forgotten either.
Yeah, I think creating Peter Parker was one of the biggest challenges I ever had, but it was also something again that I'm very proud. Well, it was because, as you say, the world wasn't used to seeing movies like that or TV shows like that. I mean, they'd had Batman, but Batman was like a send-up joke kind of
Yeah.
show. We were trying to tell a real story where people believed the characters and believed it all. And you thought, well, first they've got to believe that a guy gets bitten by a spider and it gives him superpowers. So we have to try to sell this in a way where people go, well, if that were to happen, And if that really were possible, then everything else that follows is completely believable. Because if you buy the premise that, yes, a radioactive spider could give somebody the same strength and the same skills and the same agility as a real spider, that's the big jump people have to take. But if they're willing to take that jump, then there was nothing else in the series that we did that was beyond the scope of believability. I mean, it's like what I was saying about Art of Eight Limbs. It's getting back to where you tell a story and you can have amazing fights, amazing effects, amazing not effects, but amazing stunts,
Mm-hmm.
but you're never leaving planet Earth. Everything you're telling is something that can really have happened. And that was what we set out to do. So when CBS said to me, because I thought, why would you want me to play Peter Parker? I mean, I'm not like some huge muscle man. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just a guy. I'm just an actor. And they said, that's what we want. We want just a guy. We want Peter Parker who, like somebody who disappears in the crowd when he's at school. Nobody notices him. He's got this nerdy little job at the newspaper. He's a nerdy guy in the science lab. He's got asthma. He's hopeless with girls. But he this thing has been thrust upon him. And now what's he going to do with it? Is he going to rob banks? Is he going to kill people? Or is he going to try to do something good with it? Well,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as they laid it out that way for me, I thought, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. I want people to forget that he's Spider-Man. I just want them to totally immerse themselves in the Peter Parker story. So that's what we tried to do. Yeah.
Did it. Nicholas, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
you finally tackling the martial art genre and what's up for you next. I'm curious to see. Still checking off the list, so keep on doing
That's
great work.
right.
Hopefully, I
There
get
are
to
always
talk to you again.
boxes to check. So thanks,
Yes.
Jim. I appreciate it. All the
Hope to
best.
catch up soon. Take care.
I do too. I hope to see you in Chicago.
Absolutely. Come on out.
I will.
I'll
We'll
give
do
you
this
a
live.
tour.
We'll do this live.
Thank you, Nicholas. Talk
Bye
soon.
for now.